I just got back from fishing with my buddy Brad Hawthorne. We were out on Mille Lacs Lake chasing walleyes. We went out in the morning and we were actually a little bit late. The sun was already up above the horizon when we were driving out there, so we missed the true morning bite, but we did get into some good walleye action. And in this video, we're gonna share a bunch of tips that'll help you catch more walleyes on early ice, especially if you're gonna be going to Mille Lacs here this upcoming weekend or maybe next week or something like that. The bite, I'm gonna say, is gonna be pretty good because we did get into a good number of fish in a short little time span that I was able to be out there. So without further ado, let's kick this video off with some fish catching action.
Oh, that one's smoke and drag, baby. Whoa, whoa, look at, holy cow, man. This is a
better one?
This is a take and drag. This is that big one you had in, we're marking. Dude, this guy saw the hole and you just...
Ooh, that's a good one. Are you gonna grab him or you want me to?
Oh, get his head up, get his head up.
Oh, dude, that's a really big one, Brad. I'm serious, that's a big one.
I know it is, dude. I'm so pumped.
Dude, you can't turn his head.
I can't. Come on, baby. I don't want to lose this one. I don't want to lose this one, man. Come on.
Oh, that's a big one.
Come on up, come on up, come on up, come on up, come on.
I'll go deep if you need me to. Oh, you got him. Oh, Brad.
Yeah!
That is a chunker, man.
Look at that.
Okay, let's see that in the sun.
Look at that right there, baby. I am so pumped for Mille Lacs ice. I can't even tell you guys. Like, you know, the cool parts about getting out here on your home guide lake is like, my good buddy Nick to share this experience with, but like being able to pop fish like one after another. Obviously the hot lure is in his snout there, but it's super cold.
Hey, when did you switch to my lure?
When you weren't looking, after you beat me up the second time. But like, there we go. And I'm gonna get this guy back because it's really cold and I don't want to freeze his fins or his eyeballs.
Yeah, we'll get him right back. Awesome.
Dude.
Wow.
Yes.
That was so cool.
Like,
that was a big one, man. That was a chunker.
I love it when you come on and catch chunkers. Like, I do have to give you street cred though, Nick. Usually I'm like a pretty good call on the spoon, and Nick went right back to that glass buckshot in the OG, super good color. He smoked two and I'm like trying to fight it, you know, like not switch. Well, literally I switch and pop a whale.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I know, like your spoon intuition is pretty good, man. You're getting that Jedi thought process. Well,
so tell me out here, like I thought like blue, a little bit of silver. Like what are some of the go-to colors out here?
So silver's definitely, that's what I came off of. I was using the coffin spoon and silver, but that blue chrome is a staple, summer, winter. It's in the top 5. Nick went with blue chrome and I went with straight silver because that was my #1 last year in the coffin. But literally UV pink, UV green, blue chrome, and straight chrome also. Like that, I forget that, it's the green perch. The green perch and the gold perch are also good colors. Like pretty much Mille Lacs, you need a box full of colors because you can be on UV green or UV pink in the morning and you can be using blue chrome 3 hours later and catching it on fish, as you've seen here. Nick started with the right color. I made a couple of changes and we got...
And when your buddy catches a couple over there,
yeah,
you don't want to not have the color?
Well, that's just it. It's like, hey, that's why like more lines is better, right? The more options you have down there figuring out what works, like, and obviously that's it, right? So, dude, I need to get more fish.
I need to get back to jigging. So that first fish came on a rattle spoon, and Brad is now going to talk a little bit about how he likes to work a rattle spoon to help him catch more fish.
So, real kind of simple jigging cadence what we're doing, and not that you have to relearn jigging cadence with the glass buckshot, but it's super loud. And what I've found is I'm bringing fish in by just subtly wiggling it, shaking it a little bit, activating those rattles, and then I'll go a long time. I'll hold it up high, about 1.5 feet up, and I'll just pause it, right? And then I'll clack it, call it ringing the doorbell, kind of clack it around a little bit, and that's what's bringing our fish in. Now, the other things I've had success with today is just rattling it, just shaking it violently for, you know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and then pausing, seeing if anything comes in, and then rinse and repeating that. So it's the one thing to remember with the glass buckshot, it is loud, and it is a very, 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 very loud rattle. So you got to watch it. Sometimes the fish want you to activate it, keep that rattle just rasping and keep that noise going. Other times they like it intermittent, They like pulses of rattles. So kind of experiment with it. Today, it's rattling the heck out of it, pausing, seeing if anyone's home, and then subtle shakes to get them commit. Or we're rattling the heck out of it, they're coming in, and half the time we're not even seeing it, and they're just smoking it. So today, active rattles, making a lot of noise, definitely the ticket. So today has not been the day where you're kind of just shaking it, hoping for the best. Maybe you're on the bridge of not using rattles. You should go to like forage minnow or something like that. Today is not that day. They're loving rattles, and when they're loving rattles and you're using the loudest one available, that is definitely the glass buckshot right there.
So we talked about jigging. Now we're gonna change gears and Brad's gonna share a few good tips on his set line setup.
What do you think, Nick?
I think you just took. Oh no! I think you should have waited.
Ow! Like, it's super perfect. Like, wait, gave him a little line, and then set the hook, and
you definitely had a hook in him for a second there.
And then I just get zeroed.
Okay, run me through your system here.
Okay, so this is pretty easy. I've got 2 1/4-inch split shots right there.
Quarter ounce.
And then I'm just going down to a hook, and then I have a pink bead. That's not a glow bead, that's just a normal pink bead.
Is that a special little hack there?
It could be a special little hack, but you know, I'm always doing my little Brad stuff, and that little pink bead, and I think I stole, that's a pink pearl bead. I stole out of my wife's sewing kit, and obviously they work, okay? So, but that could have been the reason I lost that fish too. No, I'm kidding. But no, little attractors, little things like that. I like using a little bit of something to differentiate my set line from other people's. And this set line today has been the hot one. Just a plain hook. You know, you're going back to basics. Plain hook, little teeny bead, you know, foot off the bottom, just producing fish.
And you've got it set up on a tip down.
Yep.
Minnow bucket right there, and then you also have a little bit of insulation. So that's pretty much that's the entire setup here.
It's the entire setup. I am using 6-pound fluoro, and I'm just getting natural with it. You know, this being the first time out on Mille Lacs, I don't know what the fish's attitude is. So instead of hanging a big like forage minnow on there, I'm just going with the plain hook. And then if this keeps whacking and whacking and whacking, then I'm just gonna go to something bigger to keep the minnow pinned and tighter to the bottom, so like you can process fish faster. So that's my process with set lines. I always start out simple and just keep on upsizing until you figure out what that ceiling is, kind of like with jigging spoons.
Next, Brad is gonna share some lure selection advice and how to know when you need to make the change.
I went to the coffin spoon, Nick went to the glass buckshot. He started whacking them. Once he had 2 up on me, I made the switch, which is always like, is a rule of thumb. If someone gets 2 on you, don't let them get 3. 1 is fine, 2 should be switching, 3, you need to be switched and actively on that color that other person has. And that's the other beauty of early ice. No one knows what they're biting on because no one's been out. So having multiple people and multiple color and sound choices is absolutely huge. So puppet minnows, they're probably gonna fire up here this week and for the next couple weeks. But that set line, it's been set line, and it's been glass buckshot have been putting all the fish on the ice. Now the one thing to point out, that set line, super simple, plain hook, little bead, 2 split shots, and on that Okuma bait feeder, and when they hit it, they're going. I mean, they just keep going. So remember that. We're doing 1 for 1 on glass buckshot and set lines. So keep those 3 in your arsenal, and don't forget about the puppet minnows, because that's basically what we came out here thinking. We were just gonna puppet minnow the crap out of them. It didn't happen, and they went on glass buckshot. So keep all those 3 in your arsenal when you're coming to Mille Lacs.
Next up, Brad is gonna give a little Mille Lacs Lake report, what's going on right now, and he's also gonna reel in a nice chunky walleye.
Is he still taking?
He's still taking. I'm gonna click this buddy over and see what happens. Oh, got him. Woo! Ooh. Another one. I just love this Vulcan rod, but yeah. Another one on the set line, Nick, and I would say that we're on a Mille Lacs Smash Fest so far.
It's really going. I'm kind of sad I don't get to stay out here all day.
Oh, I know. It's just like, I'd call it, we're whacking them. We're whacking them pretty good. Oh, there's Swivel.
Does this one feel like it's a kind of a moderate?
This one could either be a slot, an eater, or a throwback. I don't think he's a true magnum, but he's not a peanut either. Whoa.
Ooh, there you go. Careful.
Got his wagging around a little bit there. So you guys, if you're thinking about coming to Mille Lacs, glass buckshot's been working. You know, we're not telling you anything new. Everyone knows that glass buckshot's what we're using. You see it there. Set lines are also putting just as many fish on top of the ice. And remember to check as you go. Make sure you have the right rattles, the right techniques, and make sure you're in the right areas to catch these fish. And if I'm not mistaken, the Mille Lacs fish are a little bit greener this year.
They seem green to me. I pulled that first one up and I was like, a nice golden walleye, and I was like, well, actually, it's not that gold. They are a little greener.
They are.
And that's actually the skinniest one we pulled up too.
Skinniest, yeah.
Which is like a nice fish. It's, yeah.
There he goes. Man, I'm just so positive this year, dude. Like we've got really good ice. The fish are hitting loud lures. They're hitting set lines. The walleyes are like, I wish we had something great to tell you other than that the walleyes are actually acting and behaving just like they should.
I don't know. It depends on what should mean. Most of the time when I fish for walleyes, they don't bite. These ones are pretty snappy.
Well, I'm loving it. Like to be able to come out and in a sense, you know, in the fall, pick up right where you left. So this spot we're on, no secret. We were out here fishing in the fall, pitching jigs. The fish were here. So my first spot, right off the first break, went right to that same spot, and we drilled one hole, mega lived around, and we're like, oh, there's a few fish here, let's try it. And literally Nick just starts whacking them. I get set up, we start whacking them, and now it's like, it's a really good day, guys. So I've got great news for you. If you live in the metro and you want to drive 90 minutes north, come on up to Mille Lacs. The fish are biting, and you only have to drive hour and a half to get here.
Now on this particular day, we pulled up to one spot, saw fish there and started catching, but that is not always the case, especially on Mille Lacs. It seems like kind of the name of the game on Mille Lacs is just moving around and trying to find active schools of fish. So with that being said, Brad is now gonna share a few tips on how you should decide the type of spot you're fishing and when you should stay and when you should go.
So how we pick spots is basically, I go off movement. You know, the days of going to a spot that you've had a historic waypoint on or whatever, and you go and you rip 50 holes, 100 holes on it, and then you verify with 2D sonar whether or not the fish are there. Now we don't do that. Now we drill one hole, I put Mega Live on, and we look all the way around us. And we don't have to make a bunch of noise scaring fish away. We can verify what fish are there before we put the effort into drilling the hole. So that's number one, that's huge. So that's what we're doing. If I don't see movement on Mega Live, we're not opening up the area. I will search around in that area and go, okay, they're not on top, are they on the edge, are they on that transition? And I'll look at every little spot on that spot. I will leave no stone unturned on that spot, no fishable area not looked at. So I look at everything before I move on. Now, if that place was a bust, I didn't mark any fish, now I'll make an extreme change. Let's say that was sand on a flat or whatever in 20 feet of water. I didn't mark anything. Now I'm gonna go try to find a deeper transition or a deeper rock pile or something a little deeper to see if the fish are going that route. So I'll start shallower and work my way deep if I have safe ice, if the ice lets you. And then that's kind of my plan is, if I start shallow and work deep, it'll let you know how active those fish are. And a lot of times in early ice, just the ice forming is so loud some years, it can literally spook the fish out of the shallows, especially if you have a lot of heaves and things. It's ungodly loud below the ice, so that can, you know, spook bait, perch, and walleyes out of that area. So that's how I move. I look for movement on Mega Live. You know, half the time, the old adage is true. Fish the fish, not the structure. Look for the fish. The fish can be 15 feet down over 30 feet of water, and you wouldn't know unless you found them there. And the same goes true at any other piece of structure. Now with the technology we have, there's no sense fishing where you're not marking any fish. And if your eyes can be wide open from drilling one hole and look around, get metric with it, because that's the way it's going to be done from now on in.
Well, that's about all we got for you in this video. Thanks for sticking around all the way to the end, and special thanks to Brad for sharing some good info. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something, make sure to hit that little red subscribe button down below, so we have a lot more awesome content coming this winter. And until then, I will see you in the next one.